time right now is exactly 14 minutes after 2. And yeah, this is Career Mode, and I'm sitting with Jack and Umpati. Today we're talking about everything from communication, marketing, diving with a little bit of emphasis into branding. So, alright, so Umpati, you are now working, and let's cut straight to the chase. You now decide, I'm done working, I want to go into business. Right? You've got a little bit of experience in terms of work and how companies run. Tell me about those first couple of months or that first year when that decision comes that says, I'm going into business.
So, it was actually kind of funny. My first client was the Pretoria State Theatre, I still remember. And so these guys needed marketing material for a particular show that they were doing.
Okay.
Not sure what I'm doing, and I said to them, yes, I can pull it off. I then go around, find out, hey guys, where can I get this? Who do I speak to? Where do I what? I then discover this company who is now the biggest importer of corporate gifts and corporate clothes on the continent. And they're based here in Woodmead. I then discover them, and I go and I buy whatever the client wants from them. And in-house, they've got branding facilities. In-house, they've got the stock that you want. They've got turnkey. You know, whatever you want, they've got it. So I then go from them, I go to them, get a quotation from them, and I say, great, this is what they want. Client, this is what I will charge. You know, I added my 15% markup onto that. The client approved the quote. I went, now the difficult part, because just about everybody, government, everybody who's big will pay you in 30 days, because people generally don't trust you with their money.
Yes.
You know, you've then got to go and find the money to be able to buy these things.
Do the work.
Give it to the client so that you can get paid 30 days later. So you beg, borrow, you do whatever you need to do, get the money, go and buy what you need to buy, give it to the client, and boom, it worked. The client was happy with what I supplied, and I think I realized at that point that this is actually something that I enjoy, this is what I want to do. And it went on, and ultimately I was able to resign, but I was fortunate in that while I was working for Lancet Laboratories in the lab, because I was working in a laboratory environment, my day started at 3 p.m. and ended at midnight. So that was a normal working day for me. So I could wake up at 7 in the morning with everybody else and do this hustle, look for clients, look for whatever I needed to do, stop at 2 p.m., prepare to go to work, start work at 3 p.m. and end at midnight. And I did that for a while, up until such time that I decided to go then do this full time. You know, fast forward, in 2014, I then got an opportunity to buy machines that I was able to brand for myself.
Wow.
And I started doing that. So that's been me ever since. And I'm really, really grateful for the opportunities that God has put before me.
Absolutely. Looking at marketing, you're in branding.
Yes.
And branding, I would say, is a form of communication.
True.
How would you explain branding?
So,
to you, what's branding?
Branding for me, I think it's very, very simple.
Yeah.
In that, and I always use this example. Coca-Cola being the biggest brand anywhere in the world, up until today, continue to care to tell you we are still Coke. They will spend billions upon billions of dollars every day just to tell you we are still the same Coke we were so many centuries ago. Now that in itself for me is telling. You as a startup, you as a small business, often enough we as small businesses sit there and say, I can't afford to do marketing. I can't afford to spend money on branding. I can't afford to spend money on marketing. When the reality actually is that you can't afford not to spend that money. You can't afford not to find that money and spend it, because the reality is if nobody knows about you, nobody knows where you are, nobody's coming to you. Now, Coca-Cola spends billions of dollars every single day reminding people I'm still the same Coke, buy me. Some ads, and you'll get these above the line, they will tell you, get this Coca-Cola for X amount. Those are sales. Some ads will just tell you, Coca-Cola still tastes great, have a Coke with your meal, no price attack. Now these are two different strategies that talk to the same thing. Whether you're talking price or you're talking just a general taste of Coke, we're talking about the same thing. Now, I as a person in branding, I cannot afford to sit there and hope that a person like yourself, say Caps Radio, can sit there and say, we want marketing material to tell people who Caps Radio is. I cannot expect Caps Radio to come to me and allow me to be that supplier to them for marketing material if they don't know who I am, if they don't know where I am. So I need to be out there. I need to ensure that any and everybody who procures this service it knows who and where I am.
Excellent stuff. Now, so, yo, man, I don't even know where to start.
Okay, so let's think of it this way. Let's say branding is communication, right? You are sharing something. You're sharing ideas, you're sharing feelings, you're sharing intentions. So branding in essence is a way of letting people know what you're about, but it's also asking of them to feel a certain way about you, asking them to do certain things, and asking them to support you, you know? So, I mean, from a branding side, what we'd want to know is, Pati, what do you do on a daily basis?
Exactly.
So,
good question.
So, communication is communication, you know, and this is why when you go for a job interview, and when you're talking to your pals down the road, and you're talking to your mother, you use 3 completely different approaches to talk to the 3 people that you're speaking to at that time. Because in as much as communication is just words coming out of our mouth, there's so much more. You know, your body language. If you say something to somebody and your body language says something else, you're going to get a response. If you change your body language saying the very same thing, you're probably going to get a much different response. So having said that, communication is absolutely important, particularly to brands, because brands position themselves in a particular way to the mind of the consumer. How they communicate, and not only that, but communicate effectively, is something that people literally go to school for years and years for. To say, while you're communicating to corporates, as a corporate, if you're communicating to a particular LSM, and an LSM is a group of people who are in a particular income bracket. Okay. You need to know how to communicate to those particular people who you want to speak to, because they may not understand your big, pompous, fancy language that is boardroom driven. But if you're speaking to people who are going to shop around for Rolls Royces and Lamborghinis, they're not going to relate to you if you're talking the same language that Oros was talking about when it was targeting the lower LSM. So you first need to know who you're talking to, and that then informs the strategy which you're going to employ to speak to the different people that you're going to be different. Now, this becomes very important, because this is where you are then able to say, because I know that I'm talking to a particular LSM, you then are able to bring together a group of people who are able to help you to be able to bring this communication effectively. So it's not necessarily as simple as you and I are communicating now. It is a little more complicated than that, because you're communicating to a whole mass of people who come from very different backgrounds. However, you want the same thing. Usually that thing is sales.
Okay, you know what? Great stuff. I like this. I'm quiet a lot because I'm learning a lot. So you find that with me, if I'm learning something totally new, I can quiet. Like, listening is a skill. And thanks for saving me there, Jack. So when we come back after the break, I want us to touch on branding in terms of the South African context and South African brands. Why is it that we still buy more overseas brands as first choice instead of our own brands? And we can open it up as much as far as Africa. It's up to you guys. Alright, so we're going to take a short break. Time right now is exactly 23 minutes after 2. This is Lunch on Caps. I'm with Jack and Umpati.
Lunch